Hello once again, guys, and thank you for tuning in to another chapter of our VR tutorial series. Now in today's chapter we're going to discuss our basic interactions. Now previously we made this simple environment update of our application, but in today's chapter we're going to delete what we've done, and I'm going to teach you what raycasting is and how important it is into VR. So first, I'm going to show you a explanation what raycast is. So imagine this is the user inside your app, and raycasting is this implementation that enables us developers to know where the line of sight is being pointed at. So imagine that this green line here is raycast. So wherever the user look, the raycast will follow. So our interaction would be, if a raycast hit something, like for example this red cube here, then we must execute a function, or just simply add a debug function to know if it was hit by a raycast. So with that introduction, let's start. Start by opening Unity and delete all those project assets, and just leave the directional light behind. And let's try to add the dive camera again. So good practice to reset its position. Next thing we need to do is to add the plane. Same, reset all positions. Select the plane, resize by pressing R, click and drag. Now we need to move our camera a little bit upwards, like that, and make sure that have you noticed that the origin of the parent, the dive camera, is somewhat below between these two cameras here. So with that, let's reset the position. Make sure that the X position is the same. So reset the Y and Z to 0. Same goes with your right camera. There you go. Now we can see that both camera is in the center of the parent object. Next thing we need to do is to create a new empty. Let's name this raycaster. So after that, let's try to add a target here. Reset position, drag this all the way up and move it forward like that. Now after that, I think we're prepared. Okay, first is we need to add a script, to create a new script, a C# script, and we'll call this raycaster. Open the script. Oh, sorry. There you go. So first thing we need to do is to add a variable, raycast hit, name it hit. So this variable will store the info of the raycast, what the raycast hits. So after that, add a condition: if physics that raycast we need to put the origin of the raycast, so our position, so this, the transform that position, and after that we need to add its direction, so it it should be facing always, or raycasting in what we are facing. So since our camera is facing on the forward vector, so simply add this, the transform that forward. Next thing we need to do is put a out and hit. So what it tells us is on while the raycast is doing its job, it will store its data here. We created the app here. We created the variable here, and it will store all the data, including the transform, the name, etc., into this variable. Next is we're going to give it a range. So let's try to add a range of 100. Close this condition up. And for debugging purposes, we need to add a debug that draw line from the origin of this that transform that position to the raycast point. So hit that point there, and after that we need to tell the user, or us, the developers rather, to log something. There is something in front. There you go. So save it up. Attach the script to your raycaster object, and let's try to run it. So as you can see, the white line here, that's the raycast, because without this debug.draw line, let's save it, run, we can't see anything even though the raycast is hitting something. Notice here, it's hitting something in front. So let's pause, remove this, and we can also add a color. So let's try to add a color red so that we can see it clearly. Oh, there you go. So every time a raycast hits something in front, it will be logged. Okay. Now we want to let's try to make a, if the user is looking at this cube, it will change its color. So first is, let's create material. Oh, I have it down there, so just delete this, sorry. And let's create a new material. Let's say target. Attach this by simply drag and drop to your cube. Click your cube, and we have our material here. Click the arrow, change the color to blue. There, blue. There you go. Now we want to, oh, sorry. By the way, we can ignore this part here because we will do it in the codes. So their color, any color will do. So let's go back here. So there's something in front. So one thing to consider is, in order to segregate the targets, we need to add tags to them. So let's try to add a new tag here. Add tag. Click this plus button sign. Let's say target. Oh, we have a target already. Sorry, I need to delete this. Let's add a new target. Let's add a new layer, a tag rather. Let's name it target. Okay. Click your cube. On the tag portion, click this drop down menu here and select target. Okay. So our object is being tagged as target. So let's go back to our raycast script. let's add another condition here. So if hit, so the data of the raycast that tag, hit the transform that tag is equal to target. So if the raycast hits an object that has a tag target, it will say I found a target. So let's try that. Save. Let's try to run the script. Let's open our console. Clear. So as you can see here, let's make this up. Whenever I try to look a target, as you can see, another log has found is being generated, sorry, and it says I found a target. So we done it correctly. So let's pause this. Now once that is done, we're going to create a script for the targets. So go to your script folder, create C# script. Let's say target script, sorry. Drag this on our cube right here. There you go. We have a target script. Open it. Now let's create a condition. So first is we need to create a boolean. I'm hit. So at start, let's declare I'm hit as false because we're not being looked at. And in every update, we're going to change the color accordingly. So if I'm hit, so if the object is hit, I'm going to change my color to red. So this that get component that mesh render that color material that color is equal to color that red, else we're going to change it to blue. Let's copy paste the line of code there, blue. Now in order for this script to access here, there's a function called send message, but first we need to create a function here. So void hit, and what's it gonna do is set the variable I'm hit to true. I'm hit is equal to true. There you go. And the next thing we need to do is save and let's go. I'm really sorry for that. Sorry. And next is we need to add a line of code here that since we have the data of the object, so hit that transform that send message, name of the function that was hit, the name of the function here, so hit, and don't forget this send message of the requires keyword, and close it up, save it, and let's try. It's being hit, sorry. Let's try to move the cube here like that. Okay, so the cube is not being, let's see here, so there's a raycast, and if we try to look the cube, it's out of range, sorry, it's a fail. Let's try to add the range to 1000. Sorry. There you go. So there's a raycast. So if we look at the cube, it will turn to red. Now that's a success. Now we want to revert the color to blue if it's not being raycasted. So how are we going to do that? Well, one thing to do that, since update calls the first line of code and again, we could do, we could change the I'm hit variable here on top. Oh no, on the end. There. Once again, let's try to play. When we look at the cube, there you go. See? Okay, that's working. So for entertainment purposes, let's try to duplicate this. Sorry. So select cube and Control D again and again. Let's make it plenty. There you go. Forgive me for a lot of ambient noises. There you go. So there you go. So every time we look at the cube, it will change its color. Okay. So thank you guys, and that would be all for today's chapter. And I hope to see you soon on our next update. Thank you and goodbye.